We're back here on The Game Changer. Tonight, let's talk about political analysts as game changers, Professor Dennis. Let's talk about the impact. No? Let's examine closely and briefly, no? Pasadahan natin, mabilisan lang. How do political analysts influence or even help shape the course of the nation's history?
Well, isa lang, there's only one way for us to influence and help shape the course of our history. And yun yung it's a battle of ideas. We offer our ideas as opposed to the other ideas. Kasi the good thing about this democratic system that we have in this country,
In our country, yes.
yeah, it allows free exchange of ideas. So as a result, marami ngayon iba't ibang mga opinions. And consequently, people get confused. Whose opinion is the right one, di ba? Whose opinion is telling the truth or closer to the truth. So dito kami nagiging importante because our primary job is to make sense of what's going on in our country, particularly with regard to our politics. So our interpretations of what's happening in the country matters a lot. They matter a lot, kasi people would be guided. And sometimes, wala lang kami sa realm of ideas eh. Sometimes our opinions translate or convert into, say, a public policy. O kaya yung vote ng mga voters natin, especially during elections, during campaign period, candidates would say na they would fight for this, they would promise this one. Kami yung magsasabi kung alin ba dyan ng mukhang totoo at hindi totoo. So along the way, as we do that, we tend to affect the discourse, the public discourse, and the decisions made by not just the government, but by the common, ordinary people.
Totoo yan. I agree because, kayo mga political analysts, when you discuss, even like, minsan magkakaiba naman yung analysis, no? Yung ideas. May mga clashes of ideas. But at the end of the day, makikita mo na buhay talaga yung sense of democracy, yung demokrasya, and not just you don't just purvey, wisdom here. You just don't shape opinions, but, you actually mold the minds of the people, and you ultimately affect your listeners or your viewers.
Yes, that's true, Kasi yung mga nakita ko yan sa mga relatives ko, sila nakikinig rin sila sa mga ibang mga political analysts. And they follow this, political analyst. And when they would talk to me, sasabihin nila, uy, si ganitong political analyst, iba kayo. Okay, minsan pareho kayo na sinasabi. So sabi ko, okay, may impact naman pala kami, kahit hindi naman yung opinion ko ang ina-adapt nila, pinakikinggan nila, pero at least makikita na yung ginagawa namin, mayroong impact sa mga ordinaryong tao.
I like it when you earlier said that your duty is to make sense. So, malaking bagay nga naman. I mean, kasi kung merong dapat pakinggan, panoorin, like, for example, sa television, yung mga political analysts, kasi pinag-aralan nyo to eh. Hinubog kayo ng panahon dito. And then, kung meron dapat mag-criticize sa mga issue pinag-uusapan sa lipunan, kayo na yun.
Kasi nga, given our background, our training, and the methods that we use, alam namin agad if something is a propaganda, or if the government is hiding something from the people, or if a political group has a sinister plan.
Yes.
We can see through all these things. Yes, nasisilip agad namin yan. And we tell the people. Now, ang problema, sometimes, pag hindi maganda yung opinion namin, in a democratic setting, of course, mababash kami.
Yes.
Kapag unpopular yung aming opinion.
Doon po lumulutang yung mga detractors.
That's right.
Okay.
Ngayon, in an authoritarian setting, importante rin yung namin, hindi lang sa democratic setting. Kasi dyan madalas yung government leadership may tinatago sa mga tao. Dyan malakas ang propaganda. To justify what the government is doing. Tapos, ang nagiging role namin sa ganyan, in an authoritarian setup, ay maging kritiko ng pamahalaan. Kaya maraming namamatay. Kasi minsan, hindi lang kami political analyst, piniplay din namin yung role ng public intellectual. Oh, so if we speak the truth to power, there are some instances that namamatay yung mga o pinapatay yung mga political analysts or public intellectuals.
Hindi ganun kadali pala yung role ninyo as mga political analysts. Meron pa rin kakibat na panganib din, ha?
Yes, meron ganyan. No? May kasama parating panganib. Kasi nga, ideas can really influence people. Na pag na-influensyahan mo, they can either side with the government or turn against the government.
Especially when you become so critical about certain issues.
That's right.
All right, as a former president of the Philippine Political Science Association, what concrete steps the group is taking to professionalize political analysis and elevate the quality of political discourse in the country?
Actually, itong political analysis is just one of the many things that we're doing. Yung mga members ng professional organization namin, yung Philippine Political Science Association, most of them are academicians. So they do research and they also teach. Yan ang mostly ginagawa. But there are some who have advocacies. Yung iba, pro-women empowerment, pro-environment, and so on and so forth. But mainly, ang ginagawa lang namin ay magturo at saka mag-research. Now, so if we'd like to improve or professionalize, if there's anything that we'd like to professionalize, yun. That's why every now and then, yung mga conferences namin, yung mga research namin, tungkol sa kung paano i-refine yung ginagawa namin. At saka i-present yung mga findings namin using our respective methods and theories. Now, yung political analysis, actually, parati namin ginagawa niyan, even if we don't do media guestings, talagang nag-a-analyze kami. Yung mga lectures namin sa mga estudyante namin, naka-incorporate doon yung analysis namin, political analysis namin. So it's, I think it's a part, a common ingredient, or common part of what we do in political science. It's just that there was a time when I proposed to my colleagues in PPSA, now why don't we come up with a pool of speakers o mga experts who can do media guestings? Ayaw nila. Kasi na-sense ko, most of my colleagues are media shy, camera shy. They're good.
Marami yan. I think marami rin mga brilliant minds, equally brilliant minds who can also share.
Pero pag makikita mo yung publications nila, very thorough, at yung kanilang analysis, at magagaling yung mga findings. Kaya nga lang, of course, ayaw nila. Kasi wala rin namang incentive na kasi tingin nila mababash lang naman sila. And that they think that yung pag lumalabas sila, hindi naman lucrative yon.
More often than not, pro bono. I am sure you understand that, Professor Dennis.
Kaya sabi ko, ito ang definition of public service.
Yes. And you guys really matter. Sabi mo pa nga. I mean, well, with your appearance now in our show, The Game Changer, I'm sure they'll certainly realize eventually na being political analysts, they really matter in the society. And they can be game changers.
That's right. Actually, ito yung mga ganitong klaseng mga public-oriented programs and shows are also helping us. Kasi this means that we are going beyond the confines of the classroom.
Yes.
Oo. So, mas lumalaki audience namin. And mas marami kami natutulungan pag ganon. Mas nakaka-enlighten kami at nagiging parte kami ng public discourse and public discussion. So, hindi lang naman yung mga tao na tutulungan namin, kundi kami rin. Oo. So, kaya nagkakaroon din ng self-confidence, yung mga At saka na-overcome namin yung problema namin. Kasi when we are talking with each other, kaming mga kapwa nasa political science, we comfortably use yung mga jargons, technical terms, and we can easily understand each other. But when we talk to the ordinary people, hindi nila kami naiintindihan. So there's this problem of communicating with the public. So ngayon, nasosolusyon na namin if we get exposed to this kind of shows, programs, nakikita namin na nasosolve namin yung pagkukulang namin. O, kasi most of us have great ideas, sound analysis, but the problem is paano magre-resonate?
Yes.
Paano maintindihan ng mga tao?
Well, somehow, yung mga ganitong exposure mo, as a political analyst provides you a potent venue to hone a certain skill, and that is to translate, easily maunawaan ng taong bayan. Kasi sabi po nga, may mga jargons kayo, meron kayong sariling language dyan sa field ninyo. Pero dito ka rin mahahasa. I'm sure maraming ma-impluensyahan kang mga kasama mo sa field mo, Professor Dennis. Eventually, mag-guest na rin. In the first couple parts of our show, medyo napaka-seryoso natin. Pagani naman natin to this time. Sige, let's play a short game before we end this interview, Professor Dennis. Tawagin natin itong Final Destination. Di ba? Ganda, di ba? Final Destination. Okay, ang mechanics nito, magbabanggit ako ng pangalan ng mga personalidad at ano ang nakikita ninyong kalalabasan o endgame sa mga isyong kanilang kinasasangkutan o problemang kinakaharap. Base pa rin, siyempre, sa inyong masusing pag-aaral at pagtingin. Handa ka na, Professor?
Handa na.
Alright, let's get it on, Professor Dennis. First name on our list, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. At ang mga bumababang ratings ng kanyang performance sa pamamahala sa bansa. What is his final destination?
Well, I think at this point his main goal is to survive, given all the challenges that he has been confronting since day one. Well, actually, yung mga serious challenges, nag-umpisa yan nung yung kanilang unity may nag-split. Doon na ngayon nagkaroon ng mga, after that, doon na nagkaroon ng mga serious challenges. And I think at this point in time, sa kanyang 6-year term, ang kanyang main goal ay paano mag-survive. Hindi matanggal sa pwesto. Sayang kasi I think when he started out, what motivated him to run for this office was the legacy of the family, of his mother in particular. Yes. So, alam niyo naman tradition sa Pilipinas, kapag maganda yung pangalan, okay, naging brand name na yung pangalan, gusto ng mga anak, ituloy-tuloy nila. But the ending for President BBM, I think it's not going to be as what he expected or what he wanted it to be. Kasi biglang nagbago eh. So yun. So kung meron man magde-define sa kanyang leadership, kasi we were expecting that he would, given his political mandate, I think siya lang, historically speaking, siya lang nagkaroon ng ganung karaming boto in the history of yung post-ed sa Philippine politics. Siya lang nagkaroon ng ganung karaming boto, malakas ang kanyang political capital, and yet yung sinasabi yung endgame, parang hindi maganda.
Okay, sige. That's with the President. Now, the next in line, second, VP Sara Duterte. At ang pangalawang impeachment na kaharapin niya ngayong taon, kung sakasakali, what is her final destination as well?
Well, she was able to survive the first one because of technicality or a legal, constitutional issue. At pumanig sa kanya doon ng Supreme Court. But this time around, wala nang ganong legal obstacle. Itong second time. So, plus, of course, it's not just about, any talk about the impeachment does not limit itself to the legal aspect or constitutional aspect. There's also the political aspect. So, natanggal na yung legal obstacle yung na nakabase sa 1987 Constitution. So, baka matuloy na impeachment trial. O kung makakalampas sa House of Representatives, i-approve ng House at magkakaroon ng trial, I think baka matuloy na. Now, ang tanong doon is what's going to be the ending? I think she has, yung kanyang mga allies nadagdagan right after the midterm elections. So it's possible na baka makakuha siya ng numbers, enough numbers for acquittal. I think ang kailangan lang 14 senators to vote for acquittal. Pero it's also possible na mag-ano rin siya, ma-convict. And yung conviction would have serious consequences or impact, negative impact on her political career. Kasi may kasama yata yun na hindi na siya makakatakbo sa kahit anong public office. So, 50-50 eh. Mahirap sabihin.
Alright. Sige, now let's talk about the third one. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Panfilo Lacson at ang kanilang investigasyon sa Manumalyang flood control project.
Nung I think kaya naman siya na-appoint si Senator Ping Lacson as chair of the Blue Ribbon Committee is because of his reputation. Sa kanyang integrity, sa kanyang, I think, investigation skill of being a former police chief. Kaya nga lang, as time goes by, parang nagiging perception ng publiko ay nagiging spokesperson siya ng Malacanang. Kasi siya na minsan sumasagot doon sa mga tanong ng mga fellow senators niya. At mukhang may bias. So, I hope na hindi gano'n na maging ending o endgame para kay Senator Ping Lacson.
Alright, the fourth one. DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla and his presidential bid.
Yeah, this one is interesting. Kasi there's this, I think, common misconception among, in Philippine politics na if you happen to be the secretary of the DILG, and DILG is, of course, it has the power to control and supervise, or at least to supervise yung mga local government units. So that means may impluwensya ka as the cabinet, as the secretary of DILG, may impluwensya ka sa mga local government officials at buong Pilipinas yun. Now,
Barangay level.
hanggang barangay level. So baka ang isipin, kapag naging secretary ka, winnable ka as a presidential candidate. Ang tanong ko, sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, meron na bang DILG secretary naging pangulo? Mukhang wala pa.
Okay. Sige. So, maaaring doon nakasalalay yung destinasyon later on. We'll find out. All right, the fifth one. Okay. Former President Rodrigo Duterte and the ICC trial.
Well, unfortunately for him, kahit pasabihin niya na ang legacy niya ay natanggal niya yung mga drug addicts sa Pilipinas, although not all of them. Ang problema naman doon is that yung kanyang pagkaka-arresto at pagkakakulong, parang naging poster kid ng fight against the culture of impunity. Kasi alam naman natin yung mga public officials natin, when they commit mistakes, when they commit wrongdoings, hinayaan na lang natin tinotolerate, hayaan mo na yan. Lalo pa,
Palagpasin na lang.
palapasin lang natin. So, na-create tuloy yung culture of impunity. Kaya yung mga courts natin, hindi siya tinatry dito. Kasi nga, we have become desperate. Hindi yun, kapag dito natin finailan yan ng kaso, malamang-lamang, pag iba na yung presidente, manalo yan sa mga kaso ipa-file sa kanya. At baka makawala rin na payagan lumabas. Just like the previous presidents, di ba? Kaya nauso yung mga neck brace, yung mga wheelchairs. Pero doon, parang ang pinayagan natin, dahil alam natin na hindi maganda yung kalalabasan ng trial kung dito gaganapin. Kung sa courts natin, ipa-file yung mga kaso against him, tuloy, dinala natin sa ibang Pinayagan natin na yung international institution ang mag-determine kung ano magiging fate niya.
Okay. All right. Last question, but not necessarily the least, Professor Dennis. With what's happening now sa ating bansa, in the country, ano or sino or saan ang nakikita ninyong mali at bakit tayo umabot sa ganito?
Well, ang mali kasi is that nag-uugat doon sa yung personality-oriented politics. Doon nag-uumpisa ang lahat. Bawat isang political personality may kanya-kanyang agenda at interest. And there are instances na yung agenda nila would go against the Constitution, would go against the common interest, would go against public interest. Kaya ganito kagulo. Kumbaga man, yung dahil personality-oriented politics tayo, ang nagdedetermine ng ating kung ba yung magkakaroon ba tayong good governance or hindi, are these political personalities who happen to be members of powerful families. So for as long as ganyan, ang kalakaran ng politika natin, patuloy tayong magiging magulo. Kasi sabi nga sa isang libro, anarchy of families. For as long as they continue to dominate Philippine politics, we will continue to experience anarchy.
Pero ang tanong ngayon, may pag-asa pa bang magbago?
Well, ang kagandahan kasi sa demokrasya, parang it's not a perfect system. Trial and error. It's always a work in progress. Kaya, kung meron man yung tanong nyo, Sir Ox, kung meron pa bang pag-asa, tayo makakasagot nun tayo mga ordinaryong tao. Kasi binigyan tayong kapangyarihan upang palitan yung mga leaders na yan. Susunod 2028 elections, ang tanong dyan, sila pa rin ba? Nakikita mo na nga yung nangyayari ngayon, sila pa rin ba yung ihahalal mo?
All right, Professor Dennis, thank you very much for your time and of course yung tiwala at for joining me in the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Politics does not fail in silence. It fails when lies are normalized, when power goes unquestioned, and when analysis is replaced by noise. In a time when opinions are louder than facts, real political analysis is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Because how we understand power determines how we respond to it. When analysis is honest, democracy is a fighting chance. When it is distorted, history is rewritten, and not always by those who tell the truth. This episode is a reminder the future of the nation is not only decided by those who govern, but also by those who explain, challenge, and expose how governance really works. I'm Ox Ballado, and this has been The Game Changer, where understanding becomes power.